6 years ago, Jordan Peterson is warning about Bill C-16. He is warning that governments are going to compel speech, meaning punish you if you don't use speech, if you don't use words and terms that they want you to use. So you guys know all about the big tech version of this, but now Western governments are doing this as well. Here is an incredible story coming out of Ireland. We've got some info from the Daily Mail. A teacher who refused to use gender-neutral pronouns for a transgender student has been sent to Mountjoy Prison for contempt of court. Enoch Burke was arrested yesterday morning for breaching a court order not to teach at his Westmeath school or be physically present there. After Judge Michael Quinn made his ruling, Mr. Burke said, "It is insanity that I will be led from this courtroom to a place of incarceration, but I will not give up my Christian beliefs." Counsel for Wilson's Hospital Schools Board of Management said it was with a heavy heart that it sought Mr. Burke's committal to prison, but she said her client had been left with no choice as Mr. Burke continued to attend the school despite the court order which it had obtained last week. The dispute began over his refusal to address a transitioning student as they rather than he, as requested by the student and their parents in May and agreed to by the Church of Ireland school. This escalated to his suspension on the day before the start of the autumn term, pending the outcome of a disciplinary process. He had refused to remain away from the school on paid leave for that suspension, the court heard, and would sit in an empty classroom declaring that he was there to work. Okay, so it is happening. It is happening. Where are the free speech activists on the left? Where is the ACLU? Where are those good liberals who should be screaming about this? There is a man in jail in Ireland because he refused to use someone's pronouns. And there will be people in jail in Canada because they refuse to do it. And guess what? They will try to figure out a way to do it here in the United States. Thank God for that First Amendment. Although I have no doubt that the blue states like Cali and New York will figure out ways to trample on that. But what do we have to do? What do we have to do if we're here in the United States? Well, we really have to expose this nonsense as it's coming. I wanted to show you a video that we showed you once a couple months back. This is Senator Rand Paul from Kentucky calling out DHS Secretary Alexander Mayorkas on his federal government big tech disinformation board. Remember this? They were going to have a disinformation board, which quickly fell apart because enough of us fought against it. And then, of course, the people who were in charge of the disinformation board said that we were sharing disinformation about them, yada, yada, yada. But Rand Paul has been leading on this, that the government should not have these organizations because it in itself is an affront to free speech.
How do you propose that you're going to have an office of disinformation governance if you see the problem in even determining what is disinformation?
Oh, Senator, because our work is not focused on disinformation writ large. Where we, the Department of Homeland Security, become involved is when there's a connectivity between disinformation and threats to the security of the homeland.
Well, that's what the Russians might be considered that. You mentioned the Russians the other day when you tried to pivot away from this being about censorship.
Through social media, and what we do through U.S. Customs and Border Protection is actually communicate via social media and other channels that is false, that we do apply Title 42.
So let's say there's Russian disinformation as well. Are you going to take to social media and broadcast that people are broadcasting something incorrect about what you think is Russian disinformation?
Senator, let me emphasize.
Well, you said the other day Russians, and now you're saying not so much the Russians, you're saying the cartels.
No, I'm not. No, I'm not, Senator. You're mischaracterizing my statement.
Then what are you going to do if there's Russian disinformation? You're going to broadcast something on social media?
Okay, so do you see the package that we're putting together here? Big tech apparently doesn't want you talking about personal responsibility and understanding that it is your life and you have some autonomy over it. The government seemingly doesn't want you to be able to say what you think about what's going on in politics. They want to be able to have boards of disinformation. I mean, thankfully this thing crumbled, but they want their word to be the truth.